which is some are describing as a bigger scandal than Watergate. What's your reaction to it?
Oh, okay. Well, it may well be, but I think there's still too many unknowns, especially from my viewpoint. I don't know what the details are, but there's a lot of things out there that one side hides it from the other side. But I think that the degree of emphasis that so far our media has put on, the Trump connection to the Russians, I think has been way overblown. And I'd like to just get to the bottom of it. But this new information that's coming out, maybe this will reveal things and help us out. But right now, it's just a political fight. I think they're dealing with things that are a lot less important than the issues they ought to be talking about. So I guess we'll wait and see until we know exactly what really went on. But right now, I don't think anybody is seeking justice or seeking truth as much as they're seeking to get a political advantage.
The speculation, again, I must say, it is speculation at this point. It says that the document refers to officials in the Obama administration. Now, if you think back, Donald Trump claimed at one point that he had been wiretapped by the Obama administration. We had the FBI director denying it. We had the National Intelligence Director denying it. I mean, if anything comes out of this to support that allegation, this would be a huge scandal, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would be, but you can't believe anything that they do say, because for me, from my personal viewpoint, without knowing, I would be surprised if they haven't spied on him. They spy on everybody else, and they have spied on other members of the executive branch and other presidents. So, yes, I hope it is if they get the information, I hope it does wake up some people, but it's ongoing. Just the other day when they voted to give FISA even more power to spy on the American people, the president couldn't be influenced by the fact that they used it against him. And I believe they did, and he believes that, and yet he went along in giving more power to these secret agencies to spy on the American people. I've always maintained that government ought to be open, and the people ought to have their privacy. But right now, the people have no privacy, and all our government does is work on secrecy, and then it becomes competitive between the two parties who gets stuck with the worst deal by arguing who's guilty of some crime, and it's a political thing much more than seeking justice.
Should we read anything to the fact, as I understand it, all Democrats on the committee have voted against releasing this memo, or will the Democrats always do that when it comes to the Republicans?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. That sort of fits my argument. It is so political. But on occasion, while I was there, we would work on issues like this, and we'd get one or two Democrats that would come over and be independent-minded, and sometimes you'll have a Republican. There were times when I thought the Democrats were right in what they were accusing, and I would support them. But our problem is those numbers of people who are willing to not be absolutely blindly loyal to the political party, they're far and few between. You don't have too many of that. But the fact that if all the Democrats are opposed to it might mean that Trump is probably right. There's probably a lot of stuff in there that would exonerate him from any accusations they've been making.
I don't think there's too much denying that there has been a pretty fervent campaign to get Donald Trump removed since his inauguration. Republicans have been speculating, though, that the infamous Trump dossier was used to obtain a surveillance warrant against Trump. Is it possible that such a document, a political one with unproven allegations, is it possible it could have been used to do that?
Well, I think they used that to get the special prosecutor, and that's a joke. I mean, he's no more an independent prosecutor than the man in the moon. And it's just really weird how this new administration was able to go along with this and put somebody like that, to investigate everybody. So I think the dossier has no legitimacy as being something revealing some truth or some revelation of Trump being associated with Russia. I think from the people I know and respect and see what they've been writing, they've been telling, I think, the story that is all made up, essentially. And there's nothing there to say that there's a real collusion between the Trump administration. I'm no fan of Trump, you know, I'm not a supporter of his, but I think that has been carried way overboard. I think they can't stand the fact, the Democrats can't stand the fact that they lost the election, and they can't stand the fact that Trump is a little bit more independent-minded they like, and I think the deep state is opposed to him, even though his policies are all over the place. And sometimes I say that I'm frustrated because he supports too much of the neocons in his foreign interventionism. So it is a mess, but they are very frustrated with Trump, and there still is a significant number of Republicans and Democrats would do most anything if they could kick him out of office.
Many thanks, Ron. Always a pleasure to speak to you. You've been listening to the voice of reason for many people, former Republican Congressman Ron Paul.